This looks like an ordinary house until you step inside. And once you do, you will understand why a woman connected to Iran's royal family chose this over a palace. Beyond Persian walls.
One sister became a queen, the other built a library, traveled the world, and designed a life on her own terms. Today, I'm standing in the house of the second sister. As an architect from Tehran, I expected to study a historic Persian house. Instead, I found myself fascinated by the woman who lived in it. And after learning more about her story, I started wondering an unexpected question. Which sister was really freer? This house belonged to Sultan Begum, the sister of Ahmad Shah Qajar's first wife. About 100 years ago, while her sister entered to the royal court of Persia, the other sister chose a completely different path. And this path led to one of the most fascinating houses I have ever visited in Tehran.
The first thing you notice is that the house sits below street level. This is called a sunken courtyard or godal-baghche in Persian architecture. It wasn't built this way for decoration. The earth kept the house cooler in summer, provided more privacy, and even supplied the soil used to make many of the bricks of the house itself. In a way, this house was literally built from the ground beneath it. Originally, this was not a small house at all. Sultan Begum's residence once opened onto a large garden that stretched beyond what we see today. Over time, parts of the property were sold and rebuilt, leaving behind only a fragment of the original state.
This room was the ceremonial heart of the house. The thing that most fascinated me is that every detail here tells of something about the woman who lived in it. Mirrors, painting, plasterworks, geometry, craftsmanship. It wasn't simply a decoration. It was the statement of culture, education, and identity. Sultan Begum and her sister grew up in an unusually educated family for their time. At a time when a few girls attended to school, they did.
One day, Ahmad Shah's mother quietly visited their school. She told the headmistress she was looking for a bride for the future king. The girls were asked to line up in the schoolyard. She walked slowly past them, studying every face. Then she stopped. Her choice was Badr al-Muluk, a girl with golden hair and shiny eyes. One sister became the queen of Persia, the other built a life that would quietly challenge the world around her. History remembers queens, but history doesn't always reward them. Badr al-Muluk became queen of Persia, but never the mother of a future king. Her marriage grew distant, and the golden palace that once symbolized power slowly became a place of isolation. When the Qajar dynasty fell, little remained of her royal life. She died alone in a small apartment in Tehran. Her sister, Sultan Begum, chose a very different path.
More than a century ago, this house had its own air-conditioned system without electricity.
Air entered through the wind towers above, traveled through hidden channels, passed over water in the basement, cooled down, and circulated naturally throughout the house. These spaces even functioned as natural refrigerators.
More than a century before modern air conditioning, this ingenious system could cool the house by up to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Fresh air entered through the wind towers, circulated naturally through the rooms, and passed over a water basin fed by an underground canal, where it became cooler and more refreshing. As the cool air spread throughout the house, the warmer air rose and escaped through the wind towers, creating a continuous cycle of natural ventilation powered entirely by nature. But that's not even the strangest part. What happened next surprised me.
Sultan Begum built one of the most remarkable private libraries owned by a woman in her life. Just look at this area, close your eyes, and imagine.
She collected books, hosted reading circles, and created an intellectual space for women at a time when many women had little access to education at all.
But what fascinated me most wasn't the library. That was these images.
During the Qajar period, decorative portraits of women were extremely popular in architecture. Sultan Begum chose something different. Instead of idealized images of women, she filled her home with memories of places she had actually visited. When I saw the images, I discovered something no one had told me.
Imagine traveling this far about 100 years ago. No flights, no GPS. She collected the postcards from every journey, turned them into beautiful paintings on the glass, and then filled her home with the memories instead of souvenirs.
Basically, it was Instagram before the Instagram existed.
Have you ever wondered why Persian mirrorwork is made from thousands of tiny pieces?
A few hundred years ago, Iran couldn't produce large mirrors. They had to be imported from Europe. After traveling thousands of kilometers, some arrived cracked or broken. Most people saw broken mirrors. Persian artists saw a masterpiece waiting to happen. They transformed thousands of tiny fragments into breathtaking mirror mosaic like this.
Sometimes the most beautiful art begins with something broken. Persian artists never wasted the beauty. I don't know whether Sultan Begum intended this as an act of independence. I don't know whether she saw it as a form of protest. But standing in her house after a century, I can't stop thinking about one question. One sister became the queen of Persia, the other built the life of books, ideas, and travels. So, which sister was really freer?
There are many more stories hidden behind Persian walls.
See you beyond the next wall.